This video covers the best time to visit, how to get there, where to stay, top 10 attractions, and pro tips.
Key West isn't exactly what you see on the postcards. Most people come here expecting beaches, sunsets, and a laid-back tropical atmosphere. And while you'll definitely find all of that, some of the most memorable experiences on the island have nothing to do with lying on the sand. In fact, if you only stick to the obvious tourist spots, it's surprisingly easy to miss the side of Key West that makes people fall in love with it in the first place. So in today's video, we're counting down the top 10 things to do in Key West, Florida, from historic landmarks and waterfront adventures to local favorites and unforgettable sunset experiences. And one of the top spots on this list is something many first-time visitors walk right past without realizing how special it actually is. If you want the most comfortable weather, November through April is usually the sweet spot. The temperatures are warm, humidity is lower, and you'll spend a lot more time enjoying the outdoors. One thing many first-time visitors don't realize is that Key West is surprisingly easy to explore. The historic district is highly walkable, and renting a bike or scooter is often easier than constantly searching for parking. As for where to stay, Old Town is the best choice if you want restaurants, nightlife, and attractions within walking distance. If you'd prefer something quieter and more resort-oriented, the eastern side of the island tends to offer a more relaxed atmosphere. If you're only going to experience one classic Key West tradition, Mallory Square should probably be near the top of your list. Every evening, people begin gathering along the waterfront long before sunset. Street performers set up their shows, musicians start playing, local artists display their work, and food vendors create an atmosphere that feels more like a festival than a simple sunset viewing spot. What makes this experience different is that the sunset is only part of the attraction. The entire waterfront comes alive with energy, and watching people interact with performers while boats drift across the harbor creates an atmosphere that's uniquely Key West. Personally, I think arriving at least an hour before sunset makes a huge difference. The build-up to the sunset is almost as entertaining as the sunset itself. This is a great experience for first-time visitors because it instantly introduces you to the island's personality: casual, colorful, and slightly quirky. The only downside is that it gets crowded, especially during peak travel seasons. But in my opinion, this is one of those places where the atmosphere actually benefits from having a crowd around. Now, after experiencing the energy of Mallory Square, one of the best ways to discover the real Key West is by slowing things down a little. Old Town is packed with colorful cottages, hidden gardens, historic homes, and narrow streets that many visitors never properly explore because they're rushing between attractions. That's why renting a bike is such a great idea. Instead of following a strict itinerary, you can simply wander through neighborhoods, stop whenever something catches your attention, and experience the island at a much more relaxed pace. What I really like about this activity is that it often leads to unexpected discoveries. You might stumble across a small cafe, a hidden art gallery, a quiet residential street, or a beautiful waterfront view that never appears in guidebooks. This works especially well for couples, solo travelers, and anyone who enjoys exploring without a schedule. My advice would be to ride early in the morning. The streets are quieter, temperatures are cooler, and you'll get a much more authentic feel for the city before the crowds arrive. The only real downside is the Florida heat during summer afternoons, so bringing water is definitely a smart move. If you're looking for the best combination of history, nature, and beach time in one location, Fort Zachary Taylor is hard to beat. Many visitors come to Key West searching for beautiful beaches, only to discover that some areas can be smaller or busier than expected. Fort Zachary Taylor offers a different experience. You'll find clear water, shaded picnic areas, walking paths, and one of the island's most important historic landmarks all within the same park. The fort itself dates back to the Civil War era, and exploring the massive brick corridors gives you a fascinating glimpse into a very different period of American history. But even if history isn't your thing, the beach alone is worth the visit. To me, this feels like one of the most complete destinations on the island because you can easily spend half a day here without getting bored. Families appreciate the facilities, history lovers enjoy the fort, and beachgoers get some of the clearest water in Key West. One thing I would recommend is bringing water shoes. Parts of the shoreline can be rockier than the powder-soft beaches many visitors expect elsewhere in Florida. And once you've explored the fort and spent some time by the water, the next stop takes us from history and relaxation to one of the most famous homes in all of Key West. Once you've explored some of Key West's waterfront history, it's time to visit one of the most famous homes on the island. Even if you've never read a single book by Ernest Hemingway, this place is still worth seeing. The property offers a fascinating look into the life of one of America's most celebrated writers, but what makes it truly memorable is the atmosphere. The house feels surprisingly personal, with original furnishings, tropical gardens, shaded walkways, and stories that make the famous author seem much more human than most visitors expect. And then there are the cats. The property is famous for its six-toed cats, many of which are descendants of Hemingway's original pets. They wander freely around the grounds and have become almost as famous as the house itself. Personally, I think this attraction works best because it combines history with personality. Instead of simply looking at artifacts behind glass, you're walking through the actual place where Hemingway lived, wrote, and entertained guests. This is a great stop for history lovers, literature fans, and anyone who enjoys beautiful historic homes. The only downside is that tours can become crowded during peak hours, so arriving earlier in the morning usually provides a more relaxed experience. Now, if there's one photo almost every visitor wants before leaving Key West, it's the iconic Southernmost Point buoy. Standing just 90 miles from Cuba, this colorful concrete marker has become one of the most recognizable landmarks in Florida. On paper, it might sound like nothing more than a photo opportunity. But once you're standing there, looking out toward the ocean and realizing you're at the southern edge of the continental United States, it feels surprisingly meaningful. What makes this stop special isn't the monument itself, it's what it represents. For many travelers, reaching Key West already feels like an adventure, and this marker serves as a symbolic finish line. My advice would be to visit very early in the morning. Lines can become surprisingly long later in the day, especially during busy travel seasons. The attraction itself only takes a few minutes, but the photo you'll take here will probably end up being one of the most memorable souvenirs from your trip. And after checking off one of the island's most famous landmarks, it's time to experience the street that truly serves as the heart of Key West. If you want to understand the energy and personality of Key West, Duval Street is where it all comes together. Running from the Gulf of Mexico all the way to the Atlantic Ocean, this legendary street is packed with restaurants, bars, boutiques, live music venues, galleries, and colorful historic buildings. What makes Duval Street special is that it constantly changes throughout the day. In the morning, you'll find people grabbing coffee and exploring shops. During the afternoon, visitors wander between attractions and restaurants. By evening, live music spills onto the sidewalks, outdoor patios fill with people, and the entire street takes on a completely different atmosphere. One thing I really like about Duval Street is that you don't need a plan. Some of the best experiences happen when you simply walk around and see what catches your attention. This area works for almost every type of traveler because there's such a wide variety of things to do. The only downside is that food and drinks along the busiest sections can be more expensive than elsewhere on the island. Still, if you're visiting Key West for the first time, spending time on Duval Street is practically mandatory. For something completely different from busy streets and tourist crowds, the Key West Butterfly and Nature Conservatory offers one of the most peaceful experiences on the island. Step inside, and you'll find yourself surrounded by hundreds of colorful butterflies flying freely through a lush tropical environment filled with flowers, waterfalls, and exotic plants. What makes this attraction stand out is how unexpectedly relaxing it feels. The moment you enter, the noise of the city seems to disappear. Instead, you're surrounded by gentle sounds of flowing water, birds, and butterflies moving through the air. To me, this is one of the most underrated attractions in Key West. Many visitors overlook it because they're focused on beaches and nightlife, but it provides a completely different side of the island. Families love it, photographers love it, and honestly, it's also a great option if you simply want a break from the heat for an hour. The only downside is that it's relatively small compared to some larger conservatories around the country. But what it lacks in size, it makes up for in atmosphere. And honestly, this is where Key West starts to separate itself from other Florida destinations. The next 3 experiences aren't just popular attractions. They're the kinds of places people talk about long after their trip is over. And number 1, in my opinion, is the experience that captures the true spirit of Key West better than anything else on the island. If you only have time for one big adventure during your Key West trip, Dry Tortugas National Park deserves serious consideration. Located about 70 miles west of Key West, this remote national park feels more like a Caribbean island than a typical Florida destination. Getting there requires a ferry, seaplane, or private boat, which immediately makes the experience feel more special and exclusive. What makes Dry Tortugas stand out is the combination of history and natural beauty. Sitting in the middle of crystal-clear turquoise water is the massive Fort Jefferson, one of the largest brick forts ever built in the United States. Walking through the fort is impressive on its own, but the surrounding scenery takes the experience to another level. You'll find some of the clearest water in Florida, excellent snorkeling opportunities, and beaches that feel remarkably untouched. Personally, I think this is one of the most unique day trips anywhere in the state. There simply aren't many places where you can explore a historic fortress and then step directly into water that looks like it belongs in the Caribbean. This attraction is perfect for history lovers, photographers, snorkelers, and travelers looking for something beyond the typical beach experience. The only downside is that visiting requires more planning and a larger budget than most attractions on this list. Ferry tickets often sell out well in advance, so booking early is essential. But if your schedule allows it, this is one of those experiences you'll probably remember for years. Now, after spending time exploring the island's history and natural beauty, the historic Seaport offers a chance to experience the working waterfront that helped shape Key West for generations. Unlike some tourist areas that feel heavily commercialized, the historic Seaport still maintains a genuine maritime atmosphere. Fishing boats, sailing vessels, waterfront restaurants, and historic docks all combine to create a setting that feels both authentic and lively. What makes this area special is that there's always something happening. You can watch charter boats return with the day's catch, browse local shops, enjoy fresh seafood, or simply sit near the water and watch the harbor activity unfold. One thing I really like about the Seaport is that it feels more local than some of the island's busier tourist areas. You get a better sense of Key West's connection to the ocean and the industries that helped build the community. This works especially well for food lovers, photographers, and travelers who enjoy wandering without a strict itinerary. My advice would be to visit around late afternoon. You'll get beautiful lighting for photos, cooler temperatures, and an atmosphere that gradually transitions into the evening. The only downside is that parking nearby can be challenging, especially during busy travel periods. Still, if you want to experience a more authentic side of Key West, this area absolutely deserves a spot on your itinerary. Taking the number 1 spot is an experience that, in my opinion, captures everything people love about Key West in a single evening. A sunset sail isn't just about watching the sun go down, it's about seeing the island from the water, feeling the ocean breeze, and experiencing the relaxed atmosphere that makes Key West so memorable. As the boat leaves the harbor, you'll watch the coastline slowly fade into the distance while the sky begins changing colors. Shades of orange, pink, gold, and purple reflect across the water, creating views that look almost unreal. What makes this experience different from simply watching sunset from shore is the perspective. Out on the open water, there are no buildings blocking the horizon, no traffic, and very few distractions. It's just the ocean, the sky, and one incredible Florida sunset. To me, this is one of those rare travel experiences that actually lives up to the hype. Whether you're traveling with family, friends, or a partner, the atmosphere feels special without trying too hard. Many cruises also include drinks, live music, or light snacks, making the entire evening feel even more enjoyable. The only downside is that weather conditions can occasionally affect departures, so flexibility is helpful. And quick heads up, I've added some of my favorite travel essentials in the description that can make your trip a lot easier. Definitely worth a quick look. If you're planning to visit the Southernmost Point Buoy, go early in the morning. The photo line can become surprisingly long later in the day, and you'll spend far less time waiting. For popular activities like the Dry Tortugas ferry or sunset cruises, booking in advance is highly recommended. During peak season, many departures sell out days or even weeks ahead. If possible, spend at least 2 nights in Key West. Many visitors try to squeeze everything into a single-day trip, but the island becomes much more enjoyable once the day trippers leave and the evening atmosphere takes over. When exploring Old Town, walking or biking is often easier than driving. Parking can be limited, and many attractions are located close enough together that a car simply isn't necessary. And if you're visiting during summer, plan outdoor sightseeing earlier in the day. The combination of heat and humidity can be intense by mid-afternoon. At the end of the day, Key West isn't really about checking attractions off a list. It's about slowing down, enjoying the atmosphere, and discovering the unique mix of history, ocean views, colorful streets, and unforgettable sunsets that make this island unlike anywhere else in Florida. Choose the right experiences, and you'll quickly understand why so many people return to Key West again and again. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more top 10 travel videos just like this. And let me know in the comments, which Key West experience are you most excited to try? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.